Hey everybody, this is Brett, and today I'm going to show you what I bought at the regular grocery store because I don't really have time or want to drive all the way to Asheville. And the Ingles that we have here in town has some organic food, and so it's pretty decent. I spent $67 on some organic brown rice, and the price wasn't too bad for that. It was probably $3.50 a pound, which is maybe a little more than I'm used to paying, but I got some cilantro organic. I got some parsley organic. I've already got as much kale as I can eat out there in the garden, so I didn't need that. I got some gluten-free sprouted bread, and this comes from Food for Life. I've been eating that for a long time now. Food for Life company. And this is kind of a new one though. Usually I eat the other one that they make, but this is what they had today, so I'm like, oh, okay, cool. And always read the label. Okay, so this doesn't have anything particularly bad in it, and it doesn't have any processed ingredients, processed foods, and it's all fairly natural. If there's any way that you could watch my Millet Pillows videos, or at least just turn off the sound and let it play in another window, click right there, and that will really help me to sell Millet Pillows. And the longer that the video plays, the better the ranking gets, the more you make comments, the more you subscribe. Same with this video. You know, all of those things help the video to get ranking and more people get to see it. And I don't make these Millet Pillows just for you-know-whats and giggles. I make them because they're the best, and so you should also consider getting one. So, a no gluten, very important. Haven't eaten gluten or dairy for over 20 years, 23 years or something. Got some tofu. I used to not be able to eat soy, but now I really do well on it. I had to get all that dairy mucus out of my body before I could really eat soy and be good with it. I also could not eat peanut butter a long time ago, but of course now I can. I've been eating soy and peanut butter for peanuts for quite a while now. In fact, I was more allergic, according to the allergist, to peanuts 32 years ago than anything else, and now I eat a lot of it. So, and I could talk about that more, but I'm not going to. But, okay, so I got some asparagus organic. I got an avocado. And remember, this is $67 for all of this. I got an organic tomato. I got an organic orange beet. And I eat 95, probably 98% organic. And some of you may be like, well, I don't have a store. I just have one of those like Stop and Shops, or like some really low ball store in my town. Well, you're looking at someone that's made a lot of effort to make sure that he lives in a place where he can get things that he needs, okay? So how many times have I moved in the last 31 years? I don't know. At least a dozen. At least a dozen times. So there's an organic pepper and organic garlic and an organic cucumber. I'm supposed to be growing cucumbers out there, but in the pots they haven't grown well. I've succeeded with the kale really well, but not so good with the squash. I had some little ones, like that big, that I ate yesterday, and that's all that it would grow. And you know, it really takes some effort to build good soil. And those of you that are gardeners, you know this. But so I had to buy some yellow squashes. It's alright, and that's it. Oh, and these bags are just these are my bulk bags that I use when I go to the Good Health Food store in Asheville. But that's what I got today, and you know, once again, I didn't really feel like driving 40 minutes each way to Asheville, which is what I do at least once a month. But I want to thank you so much. Oh, before I end this video, you know, a big part of this is what not to eat. Okay, so this is what to eat, and beans, and root vegetables like potatoes and sweet potatoes and non-glutinous grains, and no mass-produced meat, no chicken, no pork, no turkey. Those are all mass-produced and hybridized. It's even organic. So you see that organic chicken there? That's a Cornish crossbreed chicken. Don't eat any store-bought chicken. The only way you can eat chicken, turkey, or pork is if you grow it yourself at home and it's not a hybrid. Like if you want to eat some chicken, Rhode Island Red is a breed. You can buy all these dozens and probably hundreds of breeds of chicken online, baby chicks, and grow them yourself, and only feed them 1/8 of a cup of grain every day, and then let them forage all day, and make sure you've got them covered. So that, covered or like protected, etc. You got to have roosters. You guys saw my video, right? I'll put the link right there. So after you've raised your own chickens, then you realize, oh my God, my chickens are like wild animals. They're so lean and so healthy and so nutrient packed from eating all those bugs. But all that organic chicken from the store is all garbage. That mucky, ew, God, so much fat. It's so fatty and heavy and gunk. And those animals can hardly even forage. They can hardly even walk. Their chests are so big from hybrid overbreeding. So anyways, that's what you do, and you stay with 95% vegan. And I'll put my diet, the specific instructions in the first link down below in the description box, so that you can read that on my website, so that you know what not to eat and what to eat. But this is just basically it in a nutshell, and it takes time. So you don't expect to get to this level overnight. First you quit processed foods. Generally, that's what you do. You kind of quit, then from there you quit the things that cause you grief. Like say dairy is causing you grief. Spend a lot of time. It took me 8 years to quit wheat and dairy, so that I would not, gradually wean my way off of that. Then it took another 8 years to get all the old wheat and dairy gunk out of my body. It took me 10 years to get all the mercury fillings out of my mouth. It took me, in the beginning, before all of that, it took me 2 years to quit smoking. Before I completely quit. I quit about 10 times. So this is what you do. You start quitting all of these things gradually. And it takes years and years and years and years and years, decades, to gradually get off of all. And then you quit smog. Okay, so you don't completely quit smog, but you radically, gradually reduce driving, and you move away from the city. I moved out of San Diego, the biggest city that I lived in the mid-90s. I got out of there. I did eventually have to live in Tucson again, but I got out of there. I lived in Asheville for a while, got out of there. I'm never going back to a place where I'm breathing a lot of fumes from auto exhaust again, or listening to cars driving by all the time. Okay, I'm quitting all of that, and gradually I'm working my way into a more and more natural lifestyle and more healthy and natural diet over time. And how long does it take? Your whole life. This is it. You spend your whole freaking life doing it. And there's so many other things. Your relationships. Are you going to go back to a traditional monogamous marriage relationship? Or are you going to learn from other people's mistakes, like your parents possibly? Or your own mistakes? Are you gonna move forward? Are you gonna learn? Or are you just gonna stay with doing what the mainstream society does? Eating pizza, drinking beer, and going to a movie, all these things that they do. Boring things. See, with this, You're spending time learning and experimenting, and you get out in the sun and you're actually doing, you yourself are doing something. It's not just like you're watching somebody doing something, like jumping out of a plane. You're there, look at that guy, oh my god, they're jumping out of a plane, or they're doing all these crazy things. No, you actually are engaging in doing something instead of just sitting there in your lazy boy. So I want to thank you so much for joining me.